everyone. I would love to invite Imam Amar to start this program off with opening the blessing.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I'll begin with reciting a few verses from the Quran, and then I'll finish with a prayer. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. In the name of the most gracious, the most merciful, we begin by offering praise to the divine, the source of all existence, for bringing us together in this moment of shared humanity. We acknowledge that every soul present is a reflection of a grand, encompassing love, and that in our diversity lies our greatest strength. We pray for inclusion and belonging. Open our hearts, O Merciful One, to see the inherent dignity and worth in every person, regardless of their path, origin, or belief. Help us to create spaces and communities where every individual feels seen, valued, and safe. A true sense of family rooted in mutual respect and love. May we actively seek out the voices that have been marginalized and welcome them to rise alongside us. We pray for resilience and hope. Grant us unwavering strength and steadfast spirit to face life's inevitable hardships. When we stumble, give us the grace to stand back up, fortified by the knowledge that adversity refines us. Plant the seed of enduring hope in our hearts, a confident expectation of goodness that illuminates the darkest time and guides our hearts towards a brighter future for all. We pray, O Allah, for rising together. Inspire us to move beyond passive presence towards active partnership. Empower us to pool our resources, share our gifts, and unify our efforts for the betterment of our communities. Let our actions reflect our deep commitment to justice, compassion, and peace, so that we may collectively build a world worthy of every life it holds. May the peace, blessings, and tranquility of the Almighty God be upon all of us, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you so much. That was just beautiful. Welcome. I'm Annette McLaughlin, director and really just supporting cast for all of this. My amazing, I call it my superfragilisticexpialidocious team is the one that did all of this, and I'm so proud. Tonight we gather in community as one Fordham, as one for all, with hope, love, faith to lead us forward. Each and every one of you is so talented and individual that lift each other up. And that's what Fordham is all about. Coming together for our 20th annual Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion event is just so powerful. The love, the peace, the hope, and the way forward. All of us together as a community make a difference each and every day. We all put the student at the center of what we do, and that's what feeds us our soul and our spirit to move us forward. And none of this could be possible without all of you, our employers, our faculty, our administrators, our students, the entire team. So with that, I am very grateful and privileged to be part of this amazing community, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you as we go forward and lift each other up.
Thank you so much, Annette, for those lovely remarks. Hello, everyone. This is a call response. Hello. Good evening. Yes, thank you all so much for being here. For those that do not know me, my name is Brittany Perez. I serve on the Career Center on the Employee Relations team, and I'm so excited to be here with you all. We as the Career Center are truly delighted to have you all here to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Global Diversity and Inclusion Banquet, specifically on the theme of Rising Together, where we are celebrating inclusion, hope, belonging, and most importantly, resilience. Today I've heard so many stories from so many different people, one specific on trying to get here, whether it was the commute. Also want to mention, it is also election day as well. And there's so many things going on around the world. So I do really, at the bottom of my heart, all of my heart actually, appreciate all of you for being here today. And again, this theme and event is very timely, I would say. So I first want to thank Aramark and the Fordham Law School for this beautiful venue, as well as the delicious food that we'll be having later on today. I also want to thank our signature partners, for supporting this event, our employers, all of you for being here, and also our students as well. Tonight, we gather not just to honor our differences, but to celebrate the strength that comes from rising together through shared challenges, life experiences, mutual understanding, and most importantly, collective purpose. In a world that continues to evolve and test our resolve, it is our resilience and our hope and our deep sense of belonging that keep us moving forward. This theme, Rising Together, it reminds us that inclusion is not only about representation, it is also about connection. It's about creating spaces where every voice is valued, every story matters, and every individual feels seen and supported. When we rise together, we elevate one another and strengthen our communities, our workspaces, and our world. So, this is not a picture of me. Okay, just want to mention that first. This is Maria Aponte. For those that do not know Maria is an award-winning poet, performer, educator, and cultural activist whose work celebrates Puerto Rican and Latinx heritage, social justice, and community empowerment. As the founder of Latino Cultural Center and the author of Transitions of a Nuyorican, Cinderella, and The Poet Speaks in Black, Maria has inspired audiences through her artistry and advocacy. Her passion for storytelling and inclusion continues to uplift diverse voices and foster meaningful dialogue across generations and communities. It really honestly would be a huge disservice to not explain why this person matters for this event. The Global Diversity and Inclusion Banquet stands as Fordham University's oldest diversity initiative, tracing its roots back to 2005, when it was first launched as a simple networking event connecting students and employers. In 2006, Maria Aponte transformed the gathering into a diversity networking banquet. Notice how I put in diversity first. In response to conversations about racial discrimination and the lack of visible DI initiatives within higher ed. At a time when diversity programs were still emerging in higher education and other industries, Maria envisioned this event as a bridge, uniting together employers, students, and community voices to celebrate inclusion and opportunity. With many partners in the past, such as the Office of Multicultural Affairs, Anthony Carter, and so much more, through art, dialogue, and resilience, they created a space that gave voice to marginalized communities by showcasing Bronx talent and planted seeds for the inclusive culture Fordham continues to build today. Unfortunately, Maria could not be here today, but she did leave her remarks. So, again, I am not Maria, but I will say it from her. She says, "Good evening. I hope you are all doing well. I want to send my congratulations to Brittany Perez and the rest of her team for continuing the Diversity Networking Banquet. It is a pleasure to see that the Diversity Networking Banquet is celebrating the 20th year. To the faculty, to students, speakers, and employers, it was my pleasure to have worked and collaborated with you over the years. It is a commitment to continue this event that is important to me. I wish you all the best as we all move into the future and new journeys." Give me a clap for her remarks. So, tonight, as we carry that legacy forward, we are proud to be joined by so many of you, students, alumni, employers, Fordham administration, and also honored to welcome back some of our former keynote speakers from the past 20 years to celebrate with you all. In honor of celebrating and rising together, I am proud to mention that we have partnered with the Office of Multicultural Affairs and Desi Chai for this event. So for all students and alumni attendees who checked in tonight, you will be entered into a raffle to gain so many career development resources from all three offices. So check your emails. I also want to mention as well that, again, another disservice. For those who do not know Maria, she was like a Spanish PT to a lot of us students. How I met Maria, I was a junior here at Fordham. Again, I'm no stranger to Fordham. I graduated in 2020 with my bachelor's. And I was a HEOP student. Shout out to all my HEOP students and CSEP students who are in the room. Yes, please help me programs. And Maria was called to do a presentation on behalf of Career Center to talk about career goals. I was a junior. I did not go to the Career Center. My team, please don't hate me. But Maria talked to us. She talked to us as if she was our Spanish aunt. She said, "You have to go to these career fairs. You better make an appointment with me. You better brush up on all your career development skills." And I was like, wow, I really do feel that. So I scheduled an appointment with her out of love and fear. And, and that meeting changed my life. I was in the bridge of trying to decide what should be my summer job that year. It was between working at a school or working as a medical scribe, because I was very passionate about helping others, just didn't know how. And when I didn't know how, I was very indecisive. She said, "Okay, well, Brittany, do you want a challenge?" And at the time, I was like, I don't know if I really do want a challenge. I'm tired. I'm a junior. And she said, no, you do. You do want a challenge. I know you do. Work with the kids. work with the kids, see how it goes. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, you can go back to being a medical student. You can go that path. That changed me forever. That led me to get my master's in mental health counseling to pursue to help children, to help adults, all the way to and then there were stories that I could not continue to sit down without saying. Hold the tears, hold the tears. So, as we enjoy this evening, I encourage you all to connect with one another meaningfully. Share your journeys and reflect on how we can continue building environments that empower everyone to thrive. Thank you again so much for joining us in this celebration of unity and growth and reflection of this event for the last 20 years. Let's begin our inspiring event together, starting with our keynote speaker of tonight. With more than 20 years of experience, Isabel Rivera is a versatile Emmy Award-winning content creator. She has excelled in every aspect of production, from hard news and documentaries to celebrity profiles and live streams. Consistently recognized for delivering compelling stories on time and on budget, she knows how to take an idea from concept to delivery. Isabel is a strategic storyteller, connector, and team leader. She also brings a proven track record and unique insight into the growing U.S. Hispanic market, as well as the Gen Z audience. In 2013, Isabel won an Emmy for her role as executive producer and writer on the documentary, The Dead Sea Scrolls, Life and Faith in Biblical Terms. She has also earned Emmy nominations for the CBS-produced teen travel series Pop-Up New York and the one-hour special on NBC New York celebrating the 100th anniversary of the New York City subway, Everyone Has a Story. Most recently, God bless you, Isabel was a producer on Ice Queens, an NHL series highlighting African American women in hockey. Committed to community outreach, Isabel serves on the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Advisory Council on Cultural Engagement and is a member of the Board of Trustees for the Hebrew Home for the Aged at Riverdale. Isabel is also no stranger to Fordham. She is an alum. She graduated from Fordham University, Rosal in 1990. Please join me in welcoming Isabel to
Wow, this is such a room. I wish there was rooms like this when I was at Fordham. Look at these beautiful faces. Good evening. What a joy it is to be with you tonight, in this room, at this moment, surrounded by such promise, purpose, and power. As you heard already, my name is Isabel Rivera, and I'm a proud graduate of Fordham College at Rose Hill 1990. I majored in what was then a brand new field called Communications and Media. I still remember walking across the campus with ambition in one hand and uncertainty in the other. But this city, this university, and this community gave me something priceless: belonging. Even before I graduated, I dove headfirst into the professional world right here on 66th Street as an intern for a show called Live with Regis and Kathy Lee. And after that, I was an ABC page. That early hands-on experience became the foundation for my career as a television producer. And now, as the media landscape continues to change, I am a content creator. Over the years, I've had the privilege of producing Emmy Award-winning documentaries, series, and specials. Being at Fordham, in the heart of New York City, gave me a distinct advantage: the ability to seize internships, to build relationships, and explore opportunities that shaped my career. And yes, a special shout out to the Ram Band for getting me there every single time. Even now, 34 years later, I remain deeply grateful for my Fordham education, for the critical thinking, for the compassion, for the integrity, and most of all for the community, one that continues to expand and evolve. Which brings me to tonight. This banquet, this room, is a living example of what Fordham stands for: resilience, inclusion, connection, and hope. And right now, resilience is more important than ever. Just last week, CBS News laid off 100 employees. And if TikTok got it right, many of them were women and employees of color, the very voices we've worked so hard to bring into the room. And it's not just CBS. Meta eliminated a number of DEI initiatives, including its diverse slate hiring approach and its supplier diversity program. The company cited the shifting legal and policy landscape around DEI as part of its decision. And earlier this year, Disney quietly dismantled its DEI division, eliminating the roles of top inclusion executives and signaling a troubling step backward, even as its audience grows diverse by the day. These are not just headlines, they are warning signs. When DEI gets framed as expendable, when representation is treated like a trend and not a truth, we risk silencing the very stories that make our industries and our communities stronger. That's why spaces like this banquet, this community matters so deeply, why your presence here matters. Because progress isn't a moment, it's a movement, and one that we must protect, nurture, and pass on. When I look out across this room, I see dreamers, I see builders, I see people who are choosing not just to belong to Fordham, but to shape it. Tonight we celebrate those first steps, the internships, the mentors, the conversations. All of this can change a life, I know, because it changed mine. I want to take a moment to lift up the name of my fellow Latina Ram, Maria Ponte, a poet, an educator, an Afro-Latina trailblazer, and a court of life. Maria didn't just imagine this banquet, she built it. She understood that diversity without connection is just a checkbox. But diversity with intention, with storytelling, with shared meals and open hearts, that's how we rise together and build legacy. And tonight, this legacy lives on in each of you, and the mentors who show up, and the students who speak up, and the stories that make space for others to say, me too. I hope you leave tonight not only inspired, but also seen. Let tonight be a reminder, we are not alone. We are not invisible. We are not waiting for permission. We are here, we are enough, and we are just getting started. Let's enjoy this beautiful evening.
Please give me another hand for Isabel. Alrighty, I would like to now call up Dr. Parmack to give the invocation before we eat.
Thank you, Brittany. Good evening. St. Ignatius of Loyola teaches us to find God in all things, to live and learn with a discerning heart, and to work to be our best selves. The distinguishing trait of our Fordham student is not simply that they're good at many things, and they are, but that they're grateful and they really care. They care about ideas, hopes, dreams, and how we treat and learn from one another. And so tonight, we pray. With gratitude for all the gifts that God bestows upon us. The gift of a loving family, one who nourishes us in body and spirit, especially when we mess up and need a little loving nudge in our blossoming. The gift of our Jesuit education, one that nourishes our critical minds, our friendships, and Fordham's sacred mission of educating us one soul at a time. The gift of our benefactors of Fordham's Career Center, who truly nourish corpus sanalis, development of the entire person in head, heart, and hands, working to form global leaders who live out their Jesuit education in service to one another. The gift of Fordham's partners in global diversity and inclusion, those members who help to link our students to the world of work as professionals and ethical young adults rooted in humanity. And so may we use all of God's gifts, academic and otherwise, to better ourselves and the world, to find meaningful employment that's marked by mission, purpose, and value, work that truly celebrates our inclusion and diversity. That we become women and men for others who promote inclusion, character, and love as Jesuit educated for the world. Lord, we ask you to bless us, the food we are about to receive, and all those who prepared it for us. For this we pray now and forever. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Parmack, for blessing us this evening. As we begin the community banquet component of our program, I would like to remind you all that this is an excellent opportunity to network everyone at your table. I'm sure we can all resonate with the theme of rising together and should feel more than comfortable discussing our own personal and professional examples relating to the themes of inclusion, resilience, hope, and belonging. So, without any further delay, tables 1, 2, 3, and 4, please make your way to the
Please quiet down.
I hope you're all enjoying networking with one another along with your meals. I'm now going to introduce you all to Koi Din, also known as Coffee to many of us, our spoken word competition winner. Coffee is a sophomore at Fordham University's School of Business, majoring in finance. He's passionate about inclusive leadership and fostering community among international students, themes he explores through spoken word and student-run podcasts. Born and raised in Vietnam, Coffee draws inspiration from his country's history, resilience, and renewal, shaping his belief in the power of rising together. He cares about leaving a fingerprint behind by helping others in need. Please join me in welcoming Coffee.
Really didn't mean to do that. Right. Hi guys, my name is Coffee Inc. by Top Coffee. I'm a sophomore, majoring in finance, and I am really thrilled to be able to share my story. So a little bit background, and I would really love to do this. I've been wishing to do this ever since I know about spoken word. It's called a yay and nay game. So in spoken word, there will be phrase that has a lot of, hidden meaning. So if you understand that phrase or find relatable to that phrase, you say yay. Right? So let's practice that. Yay! Yeah. How are you feeling today? Good? Yay! Exactly. Great. Thank you so much. All right. So a little bit of background about my spoken word piece. It's called How We Rise, the Vietnamese way. I came from Vietnam, born in a country full of war. I think we only have 40 years of peace. And I'm very privileged to be able to stand here talking to you guys. This story was from my grandfather. I carried his story over here, and just because he's forgetting about it already, so so I will start. And remember the game. Thank you. You ever notice how people talk about rising like it's a solo thing? That's what made me think, because when I lift somebody up, someone else lift me. It's like an invisible cycle of energy, and that's rising together. In Vietnam, we rise not from peace, but from the echoes of war. From dust that learns to dance, from the scar that learns to soar. My grandmother's hands still tremble when the fireworks roar. The pain of a whole generation's couldn't disappear for me to be here. So I'm here, talking from the bottom of my heart, like a cure for terminal disease. So I seize my chance to tell you this. So please, not just hear me, but feel this beat. Feel this beat. It's an echo of every man buried beneath our feet. Lean in, because every breath you take is someone's win. Every step you make is someone's prayer. Don't waste the air that they couldn't share.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was born from survival, and so are you. So let's make rising contagious. We talk about resilience like it's a buzzword, but in Vietnam, where I came from, resilience has a name. It was written in mud and flame. You don't have to understand that, but do feel this choir. Let me tell you a story of desire. Vietnam, 1973, the war was slipping toward this end. The end of colony was never easy. 10 days left, and 10 days felt like eternity. My grandfather told me they had to carry a cannon that's 400 pounds with nothing but ropes and bare hand. Mud thick as blood, heat was fire banned. Every step was a prayer, every breath was borrowed time, and every soldier was a hero. Not for fighting, but for still standing resiliently. Then one day, from front line, no time, bullets sang lullaby, and he saw a man, an enemy, a boy, really. Bleeding out, a bit gone, eye empty. He felt like his soul was about to flee. Everybody yelled, leave him, keep moving on, but he couldn't. After all the hatred they brought, all the blood they shed, all the life they took, he just couldn't. So he picked this man up, twice his size, ran through the gunfire, through the smoke and scope, bullet kissed his back, but he didn't stop, didn't flinch. He carried the man all the way back to camp, sweat, blood, and the miracle of a stamp. That night, he woke up in the hospital bed, next to the nurse who then became my grandmother. He laughed and he told me, maybe because I saved this man, I found my true love.
Yeah.
And that what rising together looks like. Not lifting people who look like you, but not thinking who's worth it or not worth it, but lifting because that's who you are. Yeah. My grandfather carried one man, and I carry his story. I carry his lesson. Denzel Washington says it at best. At the end, it's not what you have done or even what you have accomplished. It's about who you've lifted up, who you've made better, and who you've been back.
Yeah.
He taught me strength isn't about power, it's about purpose. That's the truest victories. Aren't caved in stone, it's carved in people. That lifting others is how we build forever. But somewhere along that climb, we forgot. We traded connections for competitions. We turned together into against, and now success looked like a ladder on top with everybody below climbing. The ladders are lonely, man. Right? So in Vietnam, we built bridges instead. We built bridges that carry dreams, not just man. We build bridges that help you go far, not just fast. So if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, we rise together. Thank you.
Let's give it up for it, and then it gets done, and then I say, thank you, Brittany, for the next Friday. But she's great to work with, and I see how intense she is about making these banquets successful and how important it is to her. So I thank you, Brittany, for letting me be a small part of it. And I think you've done an amazing thing. You know, I'm very blessed. I work with a great team at the Career Center. Annette is a fantastic leader. We all have our special areas that we concentrate on, but we all work together. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think we all have a genuine affection for each other, and we're really out there trying to help students create a career and a better life for themselves. I go to bed every night speaking to my wife, but I wake up every morning speaking to this next guest. It's my honor to introduce you to my good friend, my colleague, a dynamic leader whose work is transforming the student experience at Fordham University. Sharita Robson is the Senior Associate Director of the Career Center at Rose Hill, where she spent nearly a decade championing student success. She leads strategic initiatives like C-STEP, KEOP, and Veterans Partnerships. She drives innovation, career readiness, equity, and experiential learning, and she lets me be a small part of all of this. You may have heard of Ram Connect, which I feel is my pet project, but it would be nothing without the help of Sharita. Whatever you need, you can always count on Sharita. So please join me in welcoming a trailblazer, someone who's made the student experience at Fordham unbelievable compared to other universities, Sharita Robson.
Of course, I have to give the flowers to everybody who's here. This is actually going on my 8th year here at Fordham, so I've gotten the chance to see and this is a blessing to see this tonight, reaching the 20th anniversary, and I had the honor to work with Maria and then also have Brittany work with me as she graduated from Fordham during the pandemic, and she has evolved this. So please give, her and also Michael and Jerry a hand again for all that. So it was gracious, that they asked me to be the panel, of course, moderator for this evening. So I had the pleasure to basically introduce a couple of people that I work with on a regular basis while I've been here in different initiatives, and also people that also work with me. This is a great honor to have all of them, so I hope that Marcos, Tanya, and also Juan Carlos will come up to basically take your seat, and Samantha, who I have not formally met, but I'm proud to basically honor her tonight as well as a panelist. And I'm going to give a little brief bio about all of you as well. So tonight, of course, we're really focusing on the celebration of inclusion, resilience, hope, and belonging. Many of the people that are sitting on this panel this evening have really kind of basically built in all of these things in regards to all of the experiences as we kind of develop this as a part of Career Personalis and really developing the sense of how diversity is important in the work we do. I've had many opportunities to work with them, and I'm glad that we can talk tonight, and hopefully I'll be able to guide you on some questions. So of course we have Marcos Tejeda, who's our campus recruiting manager from RSM, who will be one of our speakers this evening. Juan Carlos Matos, our assistant vice president for student affairs for diversity. Tanya, I know I'm gonna basically mess this up, right? And Ron, see, I got it right. Economic senior, also who's been working for me the past couple of years as our student engagement strategist here in the Career Center. Hopefully I'm getting it right. Sue.
It's actually very common to just say Shao, but it's Sue. Like I'm gonna sue you.
I'm gonna sue you. So I remember that. So you are also an alumni of Fordham University, and we have the pleasure of having her on this panel. So I want to kind of start off with asking a value perspective of different things, and I'm asking all of you to really kind of give a sense of how your experience at Fordham has shaped who you are and where you are today.
So I think the very surprising thing about Fordham is that when I was at Fordham, I didn't utilize policy resources. And coming back and just saying hello, I think in the beginning of the year with Michael and Brittany, they were so welcoming and they really helped my company grow. I'm an independent brand and designer, I'm a jeweler designer. And the moment that I said, hey, what's up? I graduated a while ago. I was wondering if, I had this crazy idea of maybe perhaps interning or getting some interns from Fordham. And they automatically just said, come on in, and we'll help you. So I think Fordham has really shaped where I am today. And looking back, it was an incredible experience because when I walk out of the doors of Fordham, when I see the word Fordham, people from the tri-state area don't know Fordham, and it's a privilege. Outside of it, they were mistaken for Florida University most of the time, but knowing that Fordham really provided the roots for my growth and my academic career is greatly a privilege.
Yeah.
I could go next. So Fordham has really changed me. I feel like when I came in, I'm a senior now, I came in as a freshman, I was somebody I would not recognize today. I was speaking to a friend the other day and he said, I don't even know who this girl is. Like everything you talked about when you were in high school, you were doing today. And I feel like if I wasn't at Fordham, I wouldn't have been doing that. Fordham's given me a lot of community with all my clubs. I see most of my club members out here. My advisor's right there, Scott, thank you for coming. It's amazing. The clubs have given me most of what I have today, and then the Career Center has been such a great help. All my team, they're so amazing. They've helped me with coffee chats, career fairs, getting me my first internship, helping me with basically anything. I feel like I could come to them for personal life queries too, and that has really made me who I am today.
Next. So when I first applied to work at Fordham, I went to NYU for my master's program, and I was connected to a couple of individuals in thinking about my path into student affairs. And one of the things I was excited about was that the Office of Multicultural Affairs had an assistant director position opened up, and it was able to do work with students of color, to do LGBTQ work, which is a lot of the different pieces of myself that I've never been able to put together throughout my time through college and even in graduate school to an extent. And so I remember one of the things that I had a conversation with someone about who was connected to Jesuit education, and one of the things that he shared with me was that I wouldn't feel oppressed there, right, in terms of the ways of me exploring working at the institution. And so I remember applying, going through the interview process. I still have the opportunity to work with a number of the individuals that are still here. I'm in my 15th year here at Fordham, so to have been able to be the assistant. I hope that I'm like in the middle between like the seasoned folks and like I'm no longer the new folks. So like when new forms come out and it's sort of like 1 to 2 years, 3 to 5 years, and then it stops at 7+. And I'm like, what do you mean 7+ years? That's a long time. Anyway. So being a part of a lot of the work in student affairs here at Fordham has been really exciting. My team and I like to joke that we were one Fordham before #1 Fordham was one Fordham, because we never really had the opportunity to have any other choice for that, right? So we're a pretty small team. We had 2 full-time staff across both campuses with a new full-time staff member, one individual that's here who held that role, who's moved on to a new role. but a lot of the amazing work that we've been able to do across campuses and really truly work to support diverse students on campus, right? And that's really been one of the things that I've been most excited to be a part of here at Fordham, and being able to grow my career at the institution and be able to not only connect with students between Lincoln Center and Rose Hill, but to continue to grow our presence. I think one of the jokes that I had when I first started working in a smaller office, that I came out of the closet to work in one. So that's how small my office was. I could like touch both sides of my office and like in one little space. And just like, so now to be able to do this work and have an impact across both campuses with alumni, folks that are connected to us, to be connected to an opportunity where we have funds that are connected to the office, an LGBTQ programming fund, something I never thought would have been able to exist at Fordham, and ultimately to kind of close my reflection, never thinking in the 15 years of working full time that being at a Catholic Jesuit institution would be the best place in this current time to do diversity, equity, inclusion work.
Yeah.
And in a way where being able to double down on mission is something that I don't think people would have ever imagined to be able to happen. And I've been able to see, again, a lot of work that still needs to be done, but to be able to do this work when I know that many of my colleagues across the country no longer have their offices that are like mine that exist is a blessing. Thank you.
I did not go to Fordham transparently, but if you would like to confer an honorary degree, I am always open to that, but doctorate preferably. Yeah, I am the primary recruiter though for RSM at Fordham, and so I've come here many years and happy to partner with everyone here, all the faculty, and so excited to be here tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for everybody. Talking about, I think everybody talked about experiences, and I think that's important. How do you think we better, recognize and celebrate diverse backgrounds and contributions of team members? And anybody can kind of jump in on this one.
I think for me, when I choose my team, I think about how we can concentrate on people-centered responsibility and perspective, and really think about what motivates each and every one of my team members, and not think about monetary needs, but think about intrinsic needs. What is it that really gets them going? What is their passion? What do they want to learn? What is it that fuels them? And it's not, and mostly in this generation, it's not about how much money you have anymore. It's more about what's their values. So I think thinking about that when you're hiring, and also when you're training, and going throughout their journey as your employer or employee is incredibly important.
Thank you.
In a very similar vein, I think in terms of building a team, it's really important that you're looking for folks that have skills that complement you as a leader. I love dad jokes, so there'll probably be a couple throughout the time of my panel. But so like I used to be much more type A. I'm much less type A. But then I also recently was diagnosed with ADHD, and so it was like, oh, I hyper-focused a lot through school, and that was what my type A was. As I've gotten older, I'm not as focused on the details anymore. So as a leader, I need a team that helps me do that, right? So as I'm able to then adjust into a sort of like mid-senior level role, thinking about you all in your career paths, thinking about what are things that I learned to delegate to other people, right? So one of the things I oversee, I'm working with one of our new staff members to now oversee it instead of me. But when I used to oversee our network programs, our LGBTQ and ally network support, and our racial solidarity network, so Plug for the Future happens every semester. We're gonna get it on Handshake. It's a great credential for you all to have. It's a certificate program, so we're gonna be working on some of that. But my supervisor, when I first became director, I was the one that was overseeing the registration, everyone coming in, and she asked me, Juan Carlos, why do you need to know who's gonna come to the program? And I said, well, if I don't look at the registration, I'm not gonna know. And she's like, oh, well, what would be wrong if someone else did that and you just didn't know and you just showed up? I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. And she was like, and it's okay if you pass it down to someone else and they make a mistake. What's the worst that's gonna happen? I was like, nothing. And she was like, exactly, right? So thinking about that, right? So really thinking about folks that complement you, folks that complement the team, thinking about the identities that can contribute more to the workplace. and bringing different values, different opportunities, different perspectives. Again, of course, in our office and working with diversity, equity, and inclusion, between our interns, our student staff, and our full-time staff, we try to be able to have as best possible identities that are connecting to students, and knowing that we won't ever be able to capture every experience, right? But how do we complement that when we can? How do we still serve as allies to individuals when we're serving as advisors to clubs? If we're doing cultural programming and someone's overseeing a committee of an identity that's not theirs, how does that turn into a learning experience for both people? And the last thing is thinking about things that drive you, right? So thinking about intrinsic value and recognizing that I may be involved in professional development at a national level, I have leadership roles in those areas, but not everyone on your team may be excited about that. I love conferences. Now, Fordham allows me to attend conferences, and I'm really involved with leadership development, and it's really exciting for me to work with other folks in their own career paths. But I recognize that everyone on my team does not like conferences, and that's okay, right? But then how do you get your professional development? Is it through a webinar? Is it connecting you to work on a committee? Are you gonna maybe like the committee that you're gonna get put on? Maybe not. I have someone here who did not like the committee he was on. But when you think about the growth as a leader, you think about what are transferable skills that someone may be able to utilize later down the road. And even if along the way, they were like, wow, I really don't like doing this chart on Excel. But then you hear back from someone that they were able to go into their new job and essentially fix an entire program for their entire department because of the work that they did with you. Those are things that come back in dividends. So being able to not focus on what is exciting to you, focus on the things that are exciting around the people that work with you, and help them grow in the areas that they thrive in.
I think that everybody deserves a seat at the table, right? And making sure that we include all voices kind of from all backgrounds of life. And I think that one of the key points of diversity that helps a company grow is being able to make sure that we have all of those voices that are heard from every walk of life. And so I know that we have had multiple initiatives internally to make sure that we do that, but I think that that's kind of at the forefront of it, and it's very important to make sure that everyone's voice is heard.
I think everybody else said it so beautifully. I'm probably not going to be able to top that, but just adding on to what they said, I think from a student perspective, it's really important to create like spaces where you can share stories. So a lot of our departments already do this, and the OMA is really big up on it. Just making spotlight series. The Career Center also does it. OMA celebrates different months. A lot of people come celebrate. So just making sure that they have spaces where they can feel like themselves, while also being a part of the bigger community is important. And then a lot of the times we do events that are religious or cultural, but I feel like it's really important to celebrate those meaningfully. So instead of just going to an event because they have a certain type of food, maybe you go there because you're going to be learning about a certain country or a certain culture. And especially with campus ministry now adding on the new Muslim life and Jewish life, I feel like that's made things so much easier for so many students. A lot of us are finding communities that we didn't before, so Fordham's doing a great job at it. And then lastly, I feel like recognizing efforts is also important. So instead of just saying, oh, thank you for doing this, maybe you expand on it and tell them why you're thankful for their unique perspective. That just makes them feel better for being a part of the process.
Yeah, I think all these are, really important perspectives. And from listening to a lot of what everybody says, it's really important to understand the people-centered piece, and of course how it's important to make these connections with others. But thinking a little bit more about like how diversity, equity, and inclusion really creates lasting and meaningful types of change in the workplace and cultural practices. How do you think we could be better at doing that?
Yeah, I think like outside of having obviously like your typical webinars and different trainings that are there, I think it's very important to highlight people and make sure that they are visible and that we are seeing folks from all walks of life. So I remember a very distinct moment in my career at RSM that there was the Transgender Day of Remembrance that happens every year in November. And hearing people's stories that they told, I never remember crying at work, but I was sitting there like at my computer sobbing just because I didn't even realize just the experiences that certain individuals go through, right? And having people that are visible really shows you, it shows everyone that people exist, people deserve to exist, and that everyone goes through a different experience and they bring that into the workplace. Even though, right, in your day-to-day, you might be talking about deliverables and client presentations, etc., but people have lives and people matter. And so I think having individuals that are visible and making sure that you elevate everyone, I think that is very important to have in a workplace.
Samantha, you want to add something?
I think in my line of work, I think creativity is incredibly important because different perspectives give different insight and I think visually in fashion, because I am in fashion, how people see things is incredibly important, how they connect with things. So it can't be singular, right? It has to embody every dimension, and it has to have a story. So if we're all the same, there won't be any stories to tell anymore. So I think that's why it's incredibly important to have different cultures all over the place.
I think in terms of areas that all of us can probably do better, is thinking about the saying that the perfect is the enemy of the good, right? And I think through the work that we do and being able to, and again, recognizing that not every industry is the same, right? So just putting that caveat there, so like the risk versus reward of the level of creativity and experimentation looks different. But I think being able to provide folks that work for you the opportunity and the ability to try new things, even if you get outvoted by your team for another project and you're like, oh, I guess y'all could do it, right? Because sometimes the idea that they have might be amazing. Sometimes, you know what, maybe it's not. Example, we purchased coffee urns for our office, and now we do a number of programs. We have our Sabor de Café event that we partner with Campus Ministry, and we've begun doing a lot of work with some of the Latina student clubs on both campuses, and has become an annual event. It helped us to get those urns. The team also convinced me to get a fondue machine. Have we really used that fondue machine? Not really. We're still, so if any students are looking to use a fondue machine for any programs, we have one at Rose Hill. But it's really being able to have that balance, right? So recognizing that being able to try something is really important, because there may be opportunities where something that you may not have thought would be impactful to other people may end up being something that is long-standing. And recognizing that it's okay that another idea doesn't work, and then you have to revamp, think about it, and think about something in a different way. And I think kind of holding those two truths together are really important in being leaders that are focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah, I'll take that fondue machine. It'll save us budget too.
We'll rent it. No fee, just borrow.
Adding on to Juan, I think representation in like any aspect of decision making is so important. Like you could be making a decision with people that feel the same way as you, and it would be a different outcome, but then some disagreements here and there could definitely make it better. And although we don't take as big decisions as the people on this panel, even in clubs, we try to make sure everybody is being heard. Everybody feels like their opinion is being respected regardless of if it's a part of the outcome or not, and that really helps us.
Yeah, so thanks, Hanya. Actually, I'm gonna do some specific targeted questions, and this just kind of rolls back to you, Hanya. I know you're talking about like how your experiences have been here at Fordham, how you've had that connection with club. How do you think Fordham has really made you feel a strong sense of belonging as a student here?
So the time I came into Fordham 2022, I knew nothing about America as well, because I came in as an international student. So learning about Fordham was also learning about New York, and I was also learning about America. And there were a few people that helped me learn all of those things at once. Brittany talked about Maria and how Maria was a mentor for her, but I feel like everything that Brittany talked about that Maria was for her, Brittany was for me. I remember December 2022, I was so lost. I was like, it's been 4 months since I've been here at Fordham. I don't have a resume, and nothing's working out. What do I do? And I decided to check out the Career Center page, and I saw that I could make an appointment with 2 people. It was either Brittany or Michael. Yeah, that was an easy choice. No, they're both my best friends now, but just that meeting with Brittany really changed what I was thinking of what university was and how I was to proceed. And ever since then, things have been so smooth. She helped me with everything I needed, not just at the time, but also moving forward. And then she connected me to all the amazing people at the Career Center. And then Shrita would take me to open houses, and I would table and talk to prospective students and parents, and that takes your confidence from here to here. And then Annette took me to a prospective parents weekend panel one day, and I was just talking to parents, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but they were laughing at stuff I was saying, so I guess it worked. But all of those experiences have made me feel like I belong here, and they've always made me feel welcome. It's not just about them offering an opportunity to you, just the fact that they think of you when an opportunity comes up is just crazy to me. Like, I'm in your mind, like, that's astonishing. And then besides that, I feel like clubs really, really help you when you're a student. And the moment I came in, I signed up for way too many clubs. We all do at club fairs, and then you get all those emails and you want to be off their signing list. But most of those clubs I'm still a part of right now, and I've continued since my freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. And that is my community. I see them everywhere all the time. I feel like the only time I don't see them is when I close my eyes and sleep. But I love all of them, and I can't even begin to think of my time graduating and the fact that I probably won't be able to see a lot of these people again, but I will stay in contact with, and I will keep annoying Brittany and Shrita and Nat and Allie and Kathy and Tony, everybody, and Mirza especially. But Michael knows. I don't even have to say his name. He's already looking down. But I feel like clubs and the Career Center has definitely framed most of my experiences being here.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I guess this is gonna go back to Samantha, like connecting the dots, how do you think, like, I know Hanya talked about her current experience, what do you think your experience, a moment of challenges were during your college as you transitioned to your career journey?
I think having something to ground you is incredibly important. For me, it was spiritual. My faith in God was incredibly important. So during my college years, when it was very difficult, I would say I would, on a Saturday, go to Muggsy's and House and really live it up at also Gordon's and Tigers for people who know what I'm talking about. And then on Sunday, be a Sunday school teacher. So that dichotomy really shifted into my career now because I do so much of this front-facing things that I need something that's much more grounding, and a lot of it that goes into nonprofit work now. And so have something that humbles you and grounds you consistently in your life.
Yeah, thank you. This one is for Juan Carlos. So I'm thinking about like students, faculty, staff, how do you really think you align that experience with rising us all together, in these experiences and these types of spaces, especially at Fordham?
So, in reflecting on this question from the beginning, I think the most important part is really, truly living out what intersectionality means in the work that we all do, right? And it's not just simply this idea that, oh, well, this person has all these different identities, right? It's really thinking about how every person's unique lived experience, because of the identities that they have, based off of power, privilege, oppression, systems of, right? Like, all of these things are interconnected, and it was sort of brought up a little bit earlier, right? When you think about how everyone is engaging with society differently and how things are impacting people differently, that then is how we rise together, right? So for myself, being a gay Afro-Dominican, first-gen individual living with neurodiversity, right? Like, who was born in the Dominican Republic, right? And then grew up in New York. These are all things that I experienced my entire life. And actually, the opposite of rising together is something that happened to me early in my career when I first became a director. And I heard in the rumor mill that someone had the nerve to say something along the lines of, I deserve to be the director of an LGBTQ center instead of a multicultural center. And I remember when that rumor got back to me after I became the director of the office, and I thought to myself, well, last time I checked, when I stepped into a room, I'm both Dominican, Black, and gay. So the last time I checked, I can't take that apart when I step into a space, right? So recognizing intersectionality is so important, because as we navigate how we experience life, it's important to be allies to one another, right? So where an experience that may be challenging for another individual, and it may not be something that you think about every day, but trying to take the opportunity to think about identities that you don't think about often, right? When we think about folks who are undocumented, when we think about folks who are non-binary and trans, when we think about folks from the African diaspora and the Black community, when we think about indigenous communities, when we think about women, when we think about folks with neurodiverse identities, how are we incorporating folks into life in an equal and equitable way so that we all are able to rise together, right? So in really thinking about how that happens in practice, in the work that we do, the friends that we have, the people that we connect with, is so deeply important. And I think us being able to do that, not only here at Fordham, but beyond Fordham, is going to be something that's going to continue to take us further than I think than we've been. Thank you.
Two last questions, one for Marcos and then just one for the overall panel. I know, of course, RSM has been a partner of Fordham. How do you think, like, the organization can actually cultivate a sense of belonging where employees can truly, be who they are and basically live that in their experiences?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think it comes back to community. I think community is very important in any space. I am not the typical mold that you see in corporate America, right? And so when I first started out, I had a great feel of imposter syndrome. I'm like, what am I doing here? Do I really belong? I don't really know how to talk the corporate talk like these individuals do. And so it took me a second, right? And for a moment I had to be a shell of myself in order to feel like I fit in. And so then within RSM, so RSM is 12 different employee network groups that span different backgrounds, right? Whether it is cultural backgrounds, whether it is sexual or gender identities, there's a wide variety of different groups that we have. And so Pride was the one that I most aligned with and I found a great deal of community with. And so it wasn't until I joined Pride at RSM that I really felt like, oh wow, this is a place that I can belong, right? This is a place that, here are my people, right? And so through that group, I was able to feel a little bit more comfortable being myself, and then found authenticity ultimately being my superpower and being what I enjoy the most, and just showing up and knowing that I can show up to work being myself. But it really took me being involved in my community in order to even realize that, or even realize that I had a space in corporate America. And so I think that it really comes down to communities and making sure that you can foster that wherever you are, because nobody can lift you up like your own people, And so it's important to find that where you are to help you navigate, things that are difficult like corporate America.
Yeah, thank you. And I think any organization that you go into, you gotta know the fit, and you gotta know about the company, you have to do your research. So all these things are gonna be important as you make connections and pick the right place that's right for you. And this is my last question for you all, and I don't want to take too long. Just give it like 30 seconds, right? Because I know we're a little bit over. But what advice would you give to students, right? Exploring their career paths, and as they prepare to enter like the workforce, be it internships or full-time jobs, how they can uplift themselves along the way through the process.
I want to take this too as a recruiter. So one, be authentic, and then two, be prepared. So as a recruiter, I constantly meet individuals that might not be as prepared as others. And so my quick tip is, if you're still trying to navigate the corporate life, don't know exactly what kind of job you want, start writing down maybe 10, 15 different areas that you might want to go into on a notebook. And then start having conversations with individuals at those companies in those areas, and then you're like, okay, let me cross this one off, let me cross that one off. So eventually you come to a short list. So you're like, okay, I'm really gonna focus my efforts on these areas. And so when you show up to things like a career fair, you can show up and all you have to do is sell yourself. Say, hey, I've already done the research into this company, into this role in particular. Here's why I want this role, and here's why I'm the best for it. And so I think me as a recruiter, preparedness really is what makes people stand out.
I would say be a problem solver. take initiative, really try to take your own perspective so that perhaps your perspective is different. It's maybe out of the box, you know, it's maybe something that your employer never even thought about. I think all too often we wait for instructions and we wait for what is it that we're gonna do next, and instead of finding a solution, you're actually part of the problem, perhaps. And so really think ahead. Think ahead, what are they missing? And don't just automatically do it. Ask for permission, engage, and see whether or not it is possible to do. And of course, be realistic about those solutions.
I would say in particular for the students to really think about any role, position that you have on campus, take it very seriously, right? So whether you're a student worker, whether you're a leader in a club, right? Because the individuals who you're connected to, and even class, right? Well, faculty, right? Because when you're looking for opportunities for letters of recommendation, for opportunities for someone to help identify you for opportunities, for scholarships, for other opportunities, we need something to talk about, right? So if you're a student worker and you just don't show up to your job, that's not helpful. If you're not showing up to class and you're turning in assignments late, and then that faculty member cannot help you write a letter of recommendation. If you're really strong, if you're a club leader and then you're not connecting with people, you're not submitting the budget packets in on time, and then you want a regular, we cannot help you, right? So if you take every role, right? Student worker role, your club leadership role, your intern, everything needs to be seen as equally important, right? It's not just the paid internship that's gonna be able to help you move forward, right? All of these opportunities are really important because you never know who may have the keys that can help open a door that you may not have ever noticed that was there, right? So really thinking about that, because people end up sponsoring you, right? So it's not just about being a mentor or mentee. There may be opportunities where someone may be asked, oh, well, what do you think about this individual? If I've had a bad experience with you, not showing up, not calling out, no call, no show, right? Like, it's difficult to then say, well, I'm confident that this person's gonna do a great job, right? So thinking about that level of importance across the board is so important, because you always wanna be able to have someone be able to vouch for you, even in settings when you don't know that someone can vouch for you, because you never know who you may be interviewing or who might be connected to whom. So that's my advice to everyone, to really think about everything you're doing as being just as important. And the last piece to that, and if you can't handle that, it's okay, just step down. I have much more respect for someone that's able to step down from a position, from a role, than to be chased all semester and then not be able to do the work, right? So be able to do everything to your fullest extent, and if you truly feel like you can't, it doesn't work out, have the grace to speak to a supervisor and step down, because at this point as a student, you're able to do that, right? And we want you all to be able to do that too.
I can bring it home.
Just summarizing it all, hopefully, I think it's so important to be clear-headed. Just make sure you don't lose sight of the bigger picture. It's so easy as a student to want to explore, and that's your right. Like, make sure you explore all the subjects and the fields you want to try, but make sure you don't lose the goal you have in mind. Like, all of us come from so many different places, and the places we come from have a goal, and we cannot lose sight of that. Maybe it's making your parents proud, maybe it's doing something for your siblings. As long as you keep that in mind, like, you'll be a problem solver, you'll be serious, you'll be prepared, and everything will fall into place.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for coming on, thank you for the participation, and I'm sure you can connect with them throughout this evening.
Thank you so much. All panelists, I'm just going to ask you to stand on this side to take a quick photo, if that's okay? On my left. Go ahead. Can we give another hand for our partners? Banquet program, we have a special award. So, first off, it is my absolute honor to recognize a remarkable leader, mentor, and change maker in our Fordham community. For over 8 years, this person has been a driving force behind our students' growth and success. With over 25 years in student affairs and career services, she has led key initiatives that expand access, strengthen employer partnerships, and empower students to navigate their career journeys with confidence and purpose. Her leadership has advanced inclusion across campus through programs supporting first generation, Bronx based, and underrepresented students, and through her active role in the racial solidarity and LGBTQ plus ally networks. Her dedication reflects the very best of Fordham's values: compassion, excellence, and service. She continues to shape lives, open doors, and inspire all who have the privilege to work with her. I would also say that I've also been mentored by her. She is a fantastic trailblazer, and her famous sayings are all the joys. Please join me in celebrating Sharita Robson, Senior Associate Director of the I'm pretty sure she was wondering why they asked her to be the panel moderator. One, she's a really great speaker, but she is a really great mentor and just amazing in our office. So please, can we give another hand for Sharita? So we have more awards. We have, again, as I mentioned in the beginning of this event, we have invited back several keynote speakers that have spoke at this very event from the past 20 years. So I want to take a moment to honor and recognize all of our former keynote speakers whose words of wisdom, insight, and inspiration have helped shape the spirit and legacy of this event. Their powerful stories and perspectives have not only guided our community, but also encouraged students, alumni, and attendees to embrace inclusion, resilience, and hope in their own journeys. Through their voices, they have challenged us to think critically, act courageously, and continue building a more inclusive and equitable community at Fordham and beyond. Tonight, we are proud to celebrate each of these remarkable individuals who have contributed so much to the Banquet's mission and legacy. So, our former keynote speakers, as I call your name, please come forward to be recognized for the impact you've made, not only on this event, but on the generations of students and alumni who have had the privilege to hear your message. So as I do call out your names, please stand here as well. So first, Caroline Davis. Erica Ackman. George Torres. Our very own Dr. Mark Mason. Christybel Garcia. Hugh Lamb. And last but certainly not least, our very own Juan Carlos Matos.
The whole group together. Okay.
Thank you so much for everything that you have done these last 20 years. Can we give a hand for Now, I would like to invite my colleague Jerry Goldstein to commence our open master.
Thank you, Brittany. And good evening again, everyone. As we celebrate the vibrant tapestry of global diversity tonight, I invite you to take this opportunity to connect not just with familiar faces, but with someone new. Each person here brings a unique story, perspective, and possibility. Let's make this more than a banquet, let's make it a beginning. I know it's really difficult to approach people that you haven't met before or you don't know, so let's help spark those conversations. Here's a few easy starters you can use. You can start with, do you have any funny stories about Brittany? You can ask, what brought you to this event tonight? What's a tradition or value from your culture that you're proud of? Have you had a mentor who shaped your journey? What's one thing you've learned from working or living in a diverse environment? Or something as simple as if you could host a dinner with 3 people from any background, who would they be? Go ahead, introduce yourself, ask a question, and discover what bridges you can build together. The most powerful connections often start with a simple hello.